Welcome everyone to round 1 of April 9th, Star Wars Unlimited night over at Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. If you guys are looking for a place to play some Star Wars Unlimited, check out Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. Thursday nights, 6 p.m., $5 entry. And for round number 1, you got myself playing a Talzin Force Yellow versus Boba JTL Lake Country. Ooh, we're showcasing the new meta Boba Fett. It's very interesting to see that Boba Fett has kind of changed throughout his time period since he got released back in JTL. He went from being in yellow, he went from being in green to this meta. He is just in Lake Country. So it's kind of just a change of the formatics of kind of Boba staying in kind of his pseudo yellow package, so basically his normal red package, but you're just removing all the yellow out of it, getting a base with 4 extra health points on it, and you're just still throwing in a couple more heavy red hitters, for instance, to deal with the condemn meta right now that we see with blue villainy. Is we're running like system shock, where you can remove an upgrade on a unit and then ping that unit for 1. So basically, that's kind of what we're seeing a little bit with that Boba, and then being able to run, of course, the Outer Rim Outlaw to help as well. And you run a couple more ships. But again, Boba Lake Country is still the exact same Boba. You're just removing all the yellow package and just throwing in a couple more red cards in your deck. But it's still the exact same Boba. It's all about indirect damage. It's all about space. It's all just about punching your opponent to death. And it's a pretty fun deck. I've only really played it once for a trilogy event over at Bulldog Community Gaming LLC. But it's still a really cool deck, and it's really cool to see that Boba JTL is still very much running rampant. It's one of the only 2 really JTL leaders that are making a heavy splash, that and Luke JTL Data Vault, which I'm not surprised by Luke JTL Data Vault making a splash. And on my side, I am running Mother Talzin Force Yellow. I've never actually played Mother Talzin. Didn't play her back when she was more Force Red in the LOF meta and the Secrets of Power meta. This is my first time actually playing her, and why I wanted to play her because of the Stranger, the new legendary, like I believe the last time I checked, $30 card right now in the secondary market that actually has a really good effect on it that states it can ambush and has grit, and then when it attacks, your opponent deals damage first to you, and then you deal the damage back second. So technically, you take damage, get your grit bonus, and then swing in for your attack. So it's pretty fun. But nonetheless, Mother Talzin states on her front side, action, use the force, give a unit -1/-1. It's good to, of course, use stuff that you've hit for 3 damage, stuff that only has a health point, a lot of different things that kind of help you deal with that. She comes out on 5, and then on 5 on attack, give a unit -1/-1. And then here, bling blue villainy with the yellow package. Of course, the yellow package gives us access to Shin's Fury to allow us to ambush out force units. It gives us access to, like I said, the Stranger, and then most of our deck is in blue villainy with access to Anakin, Talzin Assassin, Karis, Condemn. Then you get other things, of course, like Whirlwind of Power, No Glory in the Results. So you have a bunch of different access to that. So one thing that is going to be very important about this matchup is that my Talzin Yellow, or my Talzin Force Yellow, doesn't have any space control. I'm all on the ground, which is very different because Boba plays a very small ground package, usually triple pride, couple of other things, sometimes HK-47, but there isn't really much on his ground presence that he has. Pride is probably the most common ground card you'll see to come out because the Pride's effective on attack. If you have the initiative, you deal 2 direct damage to your opponent. So that's the only really ground presence that it has. The majority of the presence that Boba has is in space, and that's not really great for me because I'm a deck that wants to play on the ground. The majority of my combat is on the ground. So without further ado, let's jump into game number 1. Here we go for game number 1. Boba does have initiative here. It's going to go for the First Order's TIE Fighter in the sky. I'm going to go for a Atreus Acolyte once again. Remember, because I'm a force base, I need to have force units set up and ready to go here. I do have Hope for Questioning, which was a pretty fun card here. The whole aspect is I thought it got rid of cards with the same type as the cards you rested. So if you went after a vehicle, then you get rid of a vehicle, First Order, and that. No, it goes after aspect, which again isn't too bad for this strategy here because there isn't really much of a different aspect in Boba JTL Lake Country. The whole gimmick of Boba is that he's just running all red, so there's nothing really to worry about. So anyways, we're going to go for the the effect here of Vader here, and then I misread my own card here thinking it's on type instead of aspect, but again, it doesn't really matter because of the stuff. So then we have to have Topo, a Serial, and a droid. So I do decide to get rid of the droid and keep the Topo and the Serial. That is another card that this deck is actually playing, and then I'm going to go for 2 damage on the base here and then gain the force off of that. So that's pretty much it for there. So yeah, it's not too bad of a hand. I mean, there was some pretty nuisance stuff in here, and I did have the Shins. That's actually one of the cards I put in here, especially for the ground, especially because I am playing the Vader from LOF that's on play. Give the unit a shield token, itself a shield token, and on attack you may kill a unit with a shield token. So I mean, that's really great to ambush out to allow me to kill 2 things with it. So anyways, we're going to go from there. So again, even though I technically read Hole for Questioning completely wrong in this scenario, it still works as it should work because technically everything in there is red. So that's the majority of his deck unless it has the villainy tag, but it shares an aspect with villainy as well. So anyways, we're going to hit the base there for the tie, and then we're going to go for, of course, the Trace Acolyte. I'm going to hit that with the Shadow Point and using the Force to immediately kill it off. Yeah, it sucks that I had to take the full 5 damage there for that. So anyways, we're going to go for the Zero. Zero says you can reveal 2 red and 1 black and then choose a unit your opponent controls. It takes 1 damage unless its player discards a card. So we're going to punch in Zero for 2 here, claim the Force, and then we're going to have General Pride come down as well. I'm going to go for another Talzin, burning the Force and then hitting the Serial, killing him off there. Just trying to keep him off some bodies on EA ground here just because there's not much. And I have the 𝐒𝐄 in my hand right now, so if he flips onto a vehicle, Boba onto a vehicle here, then that's all just fine for me because I'll just hit the vehicle that Boba's on with the 𝐒𝐄. Now again, I totally forgot that he's actually playing in this game here. He's got access to, of course, System Shock, which immediately will be able to remove the 𝐒𝐄, which mainly means I don't have much of a way to get rid of the Boba once it attaches itself to a vehicle, because unfortunately Shadow Point can't do that, and unfortunately there's no great control anymore. Like Power of the Dark Side is gone, you know, Rivals Fall is gone, so we lost a lot of like the really good red control, blue-black control that we used to have before rotation and all that. So anyways, I'm kind of just deciding what I want to do here because, I mean, there is the Pride here. I am going to swing I am going to kill the Pride there. I think I should have actually done the Whirlwind of Power. I had the Whirlwind in my hand, so I actually probably should have thinking about it. Just should have hit his base for 2 there, then Whirlwinded off the Pride here using its effects, So anyways, we're going to, I think the Boba did trigger there to do the 1 extra indirect damage as well, but I was holding more of the Whirlwind for when he actually goes for the effect of playing out a vehicle here, because I actually wanted to technically hit the vehicle. So I come out on 5, by the way, so I am able to, of course, play the Mother Talzin here this turn and be able to hit something with -1. So anyways, I'm going to go 3 at the base here, and then I'm going to be able to then hit the bomber for -1. Then I'm going to hit with Whirlwind of Power, giving the -3 because I burnt the Force there, so that allows me to kill. And then last 2, I'm going to put out a Trace Acolyte. So right now I've cleared out the board, and that's kind of what I have to do. Space is definitely my hardest frontier to deal with because of the fact that I don't have any space units in the deck. Like I said, my entire field is ground right now. So that is my one problem, is I really don't have much in the ground. I did decide to maybe put a Stranger away. I decided to retake it back to my hand and then put it back away as my camera is losing the focus there. But again, because Boba is so limited on the ground presence as it is, there's just not really much I could really do with here. And again, this being a turn that Boba could come out means that Top of the Summon, like as we saw, that's in the resources can't really be used this turn because I've kept him off of vehicles. So anyways, we're going to go for the shuttle into the sky here. It's just going to get a shield token. It doesn't have any ability to take any upgrades or anything like that. And so here's my problem, is like I could have Whirlwinded here. I could have done even the Anakin here, and then we're just going to go for Mother Talzin creating the Force and giving me the -1 here, and then hitting for that. So yeah, I was looking to try to kill it, but unfortunately he did decide to just go for the Boba flip this turn, and then there's going to be the 4 damage that Boba can do wherever it wants to do. So we could just go for the Trace Acolyte. So the Trace Acolyte is just going to be killing off completely here just for that. And here comes the big problem. So anyways, like I said, I could have done, like, if he hadn't flipped the Boba, I could have done Whirlwind of Power, knocked out his shuttle there completely and removing it from the battlefield altogether, which would have been pretty nice here. So basically, I'm just going to go for the 𝐒𝐄, and then unfortunately, I pretty much, I think, struggled into this one. So my big problem for this round is I had the 𝐒𝐄, and again, this only swings for 7, meaning that technically Boba only hits me for 1 damage per turn if I could show the 𝐒𝐄, but unfortunately I don't draw into anything. I go through multiple turns where I can't get anything and it's hurting me. The fact is that I can't utilize the 𝐒𝐲 trigger because I don't have a villainy card in my hand to utilize with it. So yeah, that really does suck to the fact that maybe really thinking about it, I should have kept the Atreus Acolyte in my hand. Yeah, I mean, Mother Talzin technically could have died, but the problem is, again, the Boba only gets the effect if it flips onto a vehicle, so even if he had Topple summoned, he wouldn't have enough resources to pay for Topple until he waited in the next turn. So anyways, I'm just going to go for a Constructive Lightsaber and pray and hope that I find a villainy card sooner or later in my hand, just so I can start pinging that the Boba here. So anyways, then we're going to go for, of course, the 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐒's Fire Spray here that deals 2 indirect damage as long as you control a Boba Fett that's either an upgrade unit or leader. So I'm just kind of deciding what I want to do here. I'm going to go Whirlwind the Power to give it -3. Technically, it doesn't really matter which timeline I do with it, but I was kind of doing it differently so that I could get mainly so I can get my trigger of my force, so then I can regenerate the force. So I'm going to swing 7, then use the effect of Mother Talzin to get rid of the 𝐕𝐹𝐃𝐄𝐒's Fire Spray here, just so I don't have to deal with the indirect damage that the 𝐕𝐹𝐃𝐄𝐒's Fire Spray produces every time it, of course, goes for the swing here. So anyways, then that's going to be 7 because of the Constructed Lightsaber gives me raid 2 on the attack here, so that's going to remove that. And then basically, I'm kind of just hoping to draw into something I can utilize, and unfortunately, I am just getting beat sticked by the fact that I cannot find a villainy card to save myself here. I cannot find any form of a villainy card to save myself here. I mean, I could go into, of course, Anakin to hit the bomber and then use the Mother Talzin to then kill off the bomber. Then we're just going to go for a 𝐶𝐈𝐃, and a 𝐶𝐈𝐃 is going to be able to allow Boba Fett to attack, and then that's going to deal me another 7 damage here, putting me up to 24 here, and which isn't really great here. Nothing I could really do. The fact of the matter is I'm just getting overly screwed here. So anyways, we're going to go for Anakin Skywalker. Anakin Skywalker is going to give -3 to the bomber there, and then the bomber is going to then, of course, attack and deal us 3 indirect damage, which I can take anywhere I want to go. So I'm just going to take all 3 onto the Anakin here, and then I'm going to be able to swing my Mother Talzin. Unfortunately, the Mother Talzin will die if she goes at, well, no, I don't die if I go after 𝐶𝐈𝐃, but I am going to remove the bomber off of the battlefield, and I have to pray and hope to draw at least a blue villainy card in my hand or anything. And basically, I didn't draw that. I drew into the sun, and I had the blue card. I'm just going to show that I don't have anything there to play with, and I'm just going to scoop the game up because I needed Condemned to go off that turn 100% if I was going to be able to win this game 100% at all. So with that, game number 1 goes to Boba JTL Lake Country. Here we go, folks, for game number 2. Let's see how bad it goes for game number 2. I'm going to start off with a 𝐒𝐒��𝐴 Sage coming in with a shield token. And then my opponent's going to go for a bomber, which of course is a very nice play immediately there. And then we're just going to immediately pass on that one, kind of figure out what we want to do next here. Again, I do have the 𝐒𝐲 in my hand, which is pretty nice. So I'm kind of just deciding on it. I do have the Shin in hand as well. I'm just kind of trying to figure out what exactly I want to do here. Anyways, I'm going to swing to damage at my opponent, creating the force here. I won't be able to deal with the bomber this turn, even with the whirlwind, because the whirlwind only deals -3 to something. So I would need to have the potential of having force. So anyways, I'm then going to take the 3 indirect damage, 2 on my base, 1 on my shield. I'm going to go for a whirlwind of -3. Actually, no, I decide not to do that because the fact of the matter is I can't do the whirlwind. I just explained to my opponent that because it's 4 health points and I don't have a way to utilize Mother Talzin because I couldn't get a force, I'm just going to bring down the Shin here just to get me another body that can do stuff. I do have the Talzin's Assassin as well if need be. Anyways, then we're going to go for the Outer Rim Outlaw, the Outer Rim Constable to give Shin a -1 there, and I could do some things. Here, I totally forget about Mother Talzin's effect. I could have actually killed that constable before it actually became a problem to me or anything. I do realize that once I draw, I'm like, oh, I should have utilized Mother Talzin's effect there to get rid of the constable. 100% there. So yeah, I should have done that 100%. The fact that I needed to actually get rid of it. We can see my opponent has a also has the effect of something else. So anyways, I'm just going to go for here. I actually probably should have gone for the Talzin's Assassin. I'm going to go just use the effect of hit that for 1 and then remove that. Again, if I had done that the first turn, I would have been able to knock out the bomber here completely and remove it from the board state. So anyways, the 𝐕𝐹𝐃's Fire Spray is going to take me 2 damage, and then I'm going to take 2 damage from the 𝐕𝐹𝐃's Fire Spray plus the extra 1 from the Boba here. We're going to go for Hulk for questioning. Again, look at the top card, and again, it shares an aspect with a unit. Unfortunately, here, this is where I actually mess up. The fact of the matter is I actually should have gotten rid of the Pride here and not the the punishing one, because punishing one does not share an aspect with the type bomber. It shows a type with a type bomber, not an aspect with a type bomber. So anyways, I'm just going to swing in a full 6 here for that, and then basically just go from there. I'm just kind of deciding what I want to do here now that the Fett's Fire Spray is out on the board state here, which is, of course, very annoying to deal with here. I do have the Talzin's Assassin, but again, it would have been completely different if I had just remembered to use my Mother Talzin effect on the turn that he played out the Constable. So anyways, we're going to go for System Shock to kill off the Sage here. Remember, knocks out an upgrade, and then immediately is able to immediately utilize its effect so that I can knock out the upgrade. But here in this case, this would have been really great. So if I had actually done Mother Talzin, get rid of the aspect. So they're trying to System Shock something that doesn't have an upgrade on it. System Shock states, remove an upgrade from one of your opponent's units, a unit, and if you do, deal a damage. So you have to complete the first part, and then you get the second part because it's an if you do. So anyways, the Fett's Fire Spray is going to deal 4 damage on my base, and then 2 indirect damage. I'm going to swing the Shin into there to get in the back of the force, and then we're going to go for the bomber here and all that. So anyways, we're going to go for Mother Talzin to hit the Fett's Fire Spray off of the battlefield here, just kind of pushing him onto the bomber if that's the only thing he's got here, and that's pretty much it. So here's the big problem. Like I said, I could have played this completely differently if I had seen it in my mind's eye and had actually decided to play completely different here. So I am going to go for Pride's going to come out. I'm going to go for Mother Talzin. I technically should have gone after the Pride here. I could have swung Mother Talzin, give the -1/-1 to Pride, and then being able to only take 1 damage and killed off the Pride off the ground here. Then I wouldn't have to deal with Pride's effect because my opponent is definitely going to be taking the initiative here. They already took it because I'm the only one playing right now. So that's the thing. Like, if I had just done that, I could have killed it. I could have killed off the Pride here and done all of that. So my opponent actually did soft pass here. So here's my thing. Is like, I swung at the base. I should have swung at General Pride. Just remove the Pride, knowing that if I swing, my opponent's going to take the initiative. I mean, they did do a soft pass. I think they're trying to bait to see what I would do here with the Mother Talzin. And then we're just going to pass from there, and I'm going to put the Krennic away. I don't really know what the Krennic fully does here, but here's my other thing I should have done. Is, if I'm being a little honest, I should have played that Darth Vader this turn. I should have just played the Darth Vader, put the shield token on, or waited until he went for the Boba trigger and then put out the Boba, and then I should have been able to then go for the Darth Vader to hit the target the bomber with a shield token and allow me to go, and then that would have been a little different, because if he then got rid of the shield token anyway, that would have been different. So yeah, so here's another problem. Like, I'm missing some things in my mind of how I could actually have played this game. 1, being missing the Mother Talzin trigger. 2, not going after the Pride and just removing the ground target off the board so I don't have to take the 3 indirect damage of the Pride, the 2 indirect damage from Pride and the 1 indirect damage from Boba here. So yeah, that isn't great here, because I'm also trying to figure out where I want to put that indirect damage, because I am afraid of, the effect of Boba when he flips to deal 4 damage to all units. So anyways, I'm going to swing. I'm going to give -1 to the bomber there. -1/-1 to the bomber there. Again, not really impactful until Boba flips onto it. So now Boba's going to flip over onto it, and then he does the 4 damage divided how he wishes. And this is where I honestly should have just decided that the bomber only deals 4 indirect damage at the most. 3 indirect damage at the most, and 4 normal damage from the bomber. So again, I'm just telling my opponent he does get the aspect to put the damage anywhere he wants to go with it. So instead of going Condemn and knowing that he already saw a System Shock, I should have gone the Vader to play itself out, put a shield token on the bomber, and then force him to have the bomber. So even if the bomber swung 4 at me, I could have taken 2 on Mother Talzin, and then I could have done that. So anyways, I'm just going to showcase here for the Condemn trigger, and then that's going to be able to give him the -6, and it removes all on attack abilities. So the ability of the bomber on attack doesn't trigger as well, meaning I don't have to worry about it. But again, I have to keep a villainy card at all times in my hand. So anyways, I'm going to just go Whirlwind of Power to remove the Pride, and then a Darth Vader is going to come down on the board, stay here. And yeah, now this is getting pretty bad here, as I don't have a way to get rid of that Vader. But I did find the Shadow Point, which is pretty nice. That is my best way to get rid of the Vader. And again, I have to always have a blue-black card in my hand, so I'm just keeping that Karis at all times in my hand. So yeah, I think maybe there could have been a chance to do that differently. I don't know. I think there's a couple of things that definitely could have changed how I could have played. This one definitely is always going to be the effect of the Mother Talzin trigger. But anyways, again, the problem here being that I had to burn the Force to kill the Pride, which I could have killed the Pride a turn earlier, and all that. So the fact here is the Vader's going to swing in for 7 damage, and then I'm going to have to. There's no. Again, I can stop the TIE bomber from swinging in, but that's really about it. So again, that Vader's a 7/7 on the ground. He's a +3/3 at course 1. He's of course a piloting. stuff. It's very interesting. I think some people don't really play him. Some people do. I think he's worth it, at least in 2 copies in Boba. Again, right now, Boba Lake Country, I don't feel like has much like difference between. If you look at every different Boba Lake Country, you technically are playing the exact same thing. So my opponent's going to go for Charge for Treason to kill the Mother Talzin here, and then they're going to go for the Shadow Point. My opponent joked about swinging the Vader first and then going for Charge with Treason to force me out of that triggered. So anyways, we're going for System Shock to get rid of the Gadam, putting 1 damage on, of course, the Bomber here. That can do any upgrade to air. So that is my problem. Like I said, if I had just decided to go with the Vader on that and had the Vader out, I could have easily just killed that Bomber in 1 turn and not had to deal with it here, because I now had to take 7 damage off that Bomber because I don't have anything to put indirect damage on at all. I could have put out a 𝐒𝐻𝐿, I guess, but again, maybe that's what I should have done, is I should have put out the 𝐒𝐻𝐿 just so the 𝐒𝐻𝐿 could take the 3 indirect damage off of the Bomber here. We're going to go for the Darth Vader here. We're going to put a shield token onto the TIE Bomber that Boba's on, and I'm going to put a shield token on. I didn't see the Shin Fury. Like I said, the Shin Fury is the only way for this Darth Vader to really work, unless you do it in Boss Blue, because you really want the ability to go after something at your opponent. So again, they have aggressive negotiation, but they don't have enough cards here where they're going to go for, of course, the punishing one to knock out the shield off of the Vader here. I'm going to go for the 𝐒𝐻𝐿 because, again, there's no point in keeping anything for the Gadam trigger. The problem is this punishing one is the most dangerous thing. The fact is that I had to take 7 damage to my base here, and then that's pretty. I could take the 4 and then the 3, but then again, the punishing one gets a raid 1 here because it will be able to actually get a raid 2 here because it can do 1 damage to the Vader there and then just remove it. So there isn't really a great way I can deal with anything here, and my opponent's going to basically just have a raid 2 on this guy because it'll paint the Darth Vader for 1. So we're going to go for Vader attack and then hit the base, and then utilizing the Vader effect is on attack. You defeat a unit with a shield token. He doesn't have to have a shield token himself. He just gives himself a shield token on play because he's naturally not shielded. He doesn't have the keyword shielded. He just gets a shield token on play. So yeah. So that just removes the Vader, but again, there isn't much I can do. So I mean, the punishing, I just joked that the punishing one is what kills me here because there's really nothing I could do about it. So the punishing one can come in, swing, and then it can paint the Vader, giving itself a raid 2, being a 5, and then aggressive negotiations basically pumps it up. It just needed 1 more attack. Even the Devastator could kill me. So this could just swing for 5, Devastator for the win. So yeah, unfortunately I couldn't win it out. I thought it was pretty close, but again, I think I made some real bad misplays with Mother Talzin. By the way, this Mother Talzin didn't win a game. There was a bye. I got a bye in round 3, the final round. That was my only win. Mother Talzin did not give me a win at all. I don't know, maybe I didn't play it right, maybe I didn't see the lines right, but I definitely feel like there was a point where I could have potentially won this game if I was a little smarter with my Mother Talzin triggers. If I had remembered to use Mother Talzin to kill off the Outer Rim Constable, if I played out the Vader a little earlier to go after the Bomber instead of doing the Gadam on it and hold the Gadam for something else, I don't know, maybe I could have survived, who knows, but nonetheless, guys, I want your thoughts down in the comments on the decks, on the gameplay, and while you're commenting, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you know when my videos go live for you. I will see you here next time. I'm on Dragons TCG.